A very warm welcome to IDFC First Bank presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 11. I'm Ritvika Gupta. Tonight we are putting the spotlight on two FMCG brands to try and get a sense of how they are navigating opportunities and challenges in their respective industries. In the first segment, I'll be chatting with Arnab Roy, Vice President Marketing, Coca-Cola India and Southwest Asia on their plans for the summer and cricketing season. And in the second segment, I'll be joined live by Komal Anand, Managing Director, Havmor Ice Cream, to share all about the trends that's taking place in the ice cream industry. Listen in. Thank you, Arnab, for joining us today on Leaders of Tomorrow.
Hey, thank you, Ritvika. It's a pleasure.
So, Arnab, the summer season is here and the cricketing season is also on. What are the big plans for Coca-Cola for the coming months?
Yeah, summer season is obviously always important, but it is probably not as important as it used to be in the earlier years. For me, honestly, every quarter is equally important. Having said that, we have some really exciting plans over the next few months. We are one of the associate sponsors of the IPL. That's being led by Charge by Thumbs Up. There's a lot of integrated plans on all our large brands across the next, I would say, 3 months. We are also continuing the expansion of Coke Studio across many parts of India.
So, the theme for our show this year is Ideas for New India. Tell us about some of the big ideas or consumer trends that you're observing in this space.
I think we have been seeing post-COVID, there are a lot of interesting trends happening. I think, first of all, I've been mentioning this even earlier. Digital is here to stay in everything, and how the consumer is entertaining himself or herself, and how all the transactions are happening, and how the information flow is happening. Very clearly, the world of digital is going to, I would say, continue to play a very important role in India. We are seeing a few more important trends, at least pertaining to our category. Eating out is growing very fast, and there is a little bit of revenge spending happening, but we expect that to continue very strongly over the next 1 year. So that's a very important thing for us. And the other part, I think we have also obviously noted it in terms of our actions we are taking. I think people are getting more health conscious. That's a global trend, but not at the expense of taste or enjoyability. And I think that's one of the reasons why we are also speaking about expanding our overall core portfolio. We are expanding our overall zero sugar segment, and that's also going to continue over the next few years.
Arnab, last year Thumbs Up and Sprite hit the $1 billion revenue mark. What is your strategy to ensure that you get the most out of your existing strong brands? In other words, how are you capitalizing your strengths?
Yeah. I think our strengths are essentially two things. We have very strong brands. Obviously, Thumbs Up and Sprite have already crossed the $1 billion mark, but we have very strong brands like core Coca-Cola, brand Maaza. We've got Limca, we've got Kinley. So all of them are extremely strong if you look at their brand metrics. So how we are able to leverage the strength of those brand metrics, I think, is going to be very important over the next few months. And the second, overall, I would say we have a fantastic group of bottling partners who ensure that, working very closely with us, we have some of the best execution on the ground as compared to most FMCGs in India. So as a combination of very strong brands combined with very strong execution on ground, I think that's what is going to give us incremental growth and also gains in market share.
So on that note, tell us, with Coca-Cola all set to make a comeback, are you seeing that as a threat?
I think we actually welcome competition, because I think for many, many years, I think it's essentially been us and PepsiCo. I think more competitors will hopefully ignite the category to grow even better and also keep us on our toes. I think we have absolute respect for the leadership who are actually running Coca-Cola right now. And we expect that, yes, it is going to hot up, but that's the name of the game. So we have to be on our toes, and we have to ensure that in spite of the competition increasing, we are able to grow our market share and our overall revenues. I think that's the nature across most FMCG categories. Uh, it's an open market, and it's good that we have a good competition with us right now.
Arnab, are you also venturing into new categories or introducing new products this year?
Yeah, I think if you saw last year also, I think expanding from our core brands, I think will continue, means to be the main, I think, focus of our innovation strategy. So last year we launched a lot of new products. We launched something called Maaza Ampanna, which has done extremely well. We launched a new flavor in Fanta Apple. We expanded Coke Zero Sugar, obviously. We launched a new isotonic drink called Limca Sport. And I think the focus this year is to ensure that we continue to invest in all of these innovations. And at the same time, we are very open to expanding into new categories also. At the end of the day, the role is means to launch because there is a strategic need for it. And wherever there is a gap in our portfolio, I think where there are opportunities, we definitely will want to launch and invest in those new categories.
I also want to ask you about the launch of Coke Studio Bharat. What is the motivation behind it, and what are your expectations from it?
Yeah, so Coke Studio has been one of the most successful brand franchises we have had worldwide. I think all of you are familiar. I think Coke Studio was also there in India earlier. And then there was a gap because of multiple number of reasons. Let me not get into that. But I think there was a huge opportunity to bring it back, essentially because of 2 or 3 things. First is, as we are talking to teens across India, I think one of the best platforms to connect with teens is through the passion point of music. Then the second thing is, as we are continuing the expansion of our business across India, we were looking at platforms which could help us better, I would say, connect with multiple regions of India. And again, that was the overall second reason. And I think lastly, one of the advantages I think we have right now is that the engagement probably is moving a lot into the leveraging of digital platforms. And unlike the last time when we had a TV partner, so this time we've gone 100% digital. And again, it's an amazing opportunity for us to try out, experiment new things, and see what's going to be the impact on the business. And I've probably shared this fact with many of you guys in the past. If you actually look into the 10 years of Coke Studio Pakistan and see probably what the impact was, the impact has been not only on the brand, but even on the business metrics in the long run. And we hope to replicate the same even in India. We had a good success also in Coke Studio Bangla, which we launched from our operating unit, but based in Bangladesh. And we finished last year with some phenomenal numbers. So we feel very encouraged about what the impact could be from both Coke Studio Bharat, Coke Studio Tamil, and Coke Studio Bangla Season 2.
So how in the face of inflation and global headwinds are you playing with the pack mix? And how have the events of the past year made you evaluate and relook at your marketing strategies?
Yeah. The whole inflation story, we'll have to, tread with a little bit of, I would say, caution. I think there are a lot of views whether it's a long-term structural change or whether it was a short-term blip. And I think both the views have their own I would say, point of opinion. I think the key is for us to ensure that our long-term strategic growth levers don't change, which means that it is going to be very important for us to continue to offer affordable packs for consumption, because that's going to continue to be one of the largest growth drivers in India. So for example, how do we continue to offer, I would say, consumers at price points like rupees 10 or rupees 20 will not change. And how we manage that, obviously, we'll have to work internally with, I would say, better efficiencies and better marketing plans. However, at the same time, at higher price points, I think there are lots of opportunities where you can change your pack mix, which we continue to do, to offer more, I would say, premium price products, I think, which also has a big opportunity, so that your overall mix and your overall P&L, I think, can be still adjusted. So I think we are continuing that strategy by not changing this overall approach. I think ensure you continue your affordable offerings. At the same time, how can you ensure that you're playing your premium mix and ensuring that your overall P&L numbers are being met?
Finally, tell us, what are the opportunities does Coca-Cola as a global brand see in India as a market?
I think India continues to be clearly one of the most attractive and important markets for the Coca-Cola company globally. The per capita consumption of sparkling drinks is still one of the lowest around the world. So even if you are able to grow even 10-20% of the per capita consumption over the next 1 to 3 years, I think the growth opportunity is phenomenal. And in the long run, I think the company is extremely bullish on the economic, I would say, prospects of India, extremely bullish on the overall demographic story of India, and everything that's happening in the last 3 years, whether it's increased urbanization, improved electrification, I think the reduction in poverty levels, I think all point to the fact that the opportunity, honestly, means around the world, if you have to pick up one market where it's worth to invest your dollars, it has to be India.
Well, that was very insightful. Thank you for your time, Arnab.
Thank you, Ritvika.
It's time for a quick break here. We'll be back shortly. Stay tuned. Welcome back to IDFC First Bank Presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 11. And joining me live right now is Komal Anand, Managing Director, Havmor Ice Cream. Thank you, Komal, for speaking to us today. So, Komal, Havmor Ice Cream has a long history in India. Tell us a little bit about how has the company evolved over the years and what sets Havmor apart from other ice cream brands in India?
Hi, Ritvika. Thanks for having me here. It's a great opportunity. Havmor was actually established in 1945 and it's a legacy company. The company was acquired by Lotte Korea in 2017. And since then, the company has actually been running on a overdrive in trying to improve processes, quality, and basically to offer superior products to our consumers in India.
Now, Lotte acquired Havmor in 2017. How has this acquisition impacted Havmor's operation and brand identity, and what opportunities has it created for the brand?
Yeah, so the acquisition actually has helped Havmor enhance productivity and efficiencies across the organization. I think there has been a lot more quality, best practices import that's coming from Korea. So there's a lot of, we've got quarterly audit teams coming into the India team and helping the Indian team enhance processes. From an operations point of view, there is an enhanced supply chain that we've been able to develop. Again, there have been inputs that have been coming in from Korea. I think the company has been growing its supply chain along with the business increase as we've been witnessing over the past 4 years, 5 years since the time of acquisition. The fact that we've also been able to launch our best sellers of Korea and India, and I think the use of the brand name Lotte is permissible only if the brand can provide a superior quality. So we've launched Lotte's World Cone, we've launched a few other products, and I think that kind of explains the quality focus that we have within the company now.
Komal, how do you view India as a market, and what are the growth prospects in this category?
So, Ritika, India is a strategic market for Lotte. I think it's one of the most strategic international markets. I'm happy to share with you that India has already become the second largest international market for Lotte Korea. The first one, obviously, is Kazakhstan. And I think the opportunity to grow in the India market is significant. I think we're very excited about this category. The category is only getting bigger and bigger with new players, both organized and unorganized, entering the category. We've recently heard that Reliance also has made an entry into this segment. And with the entry of Reliance and a lot more players, the category is bound to grow even faster. So we're excited about the opportunity that India has to offer.
And what can you tell us about the impact of inflation on your business and even the ice cream market in India at large?
Companies that are using dairy-based ingredients as raw material, for example, Havmor Ice Creams are made out of milk, and the key material that we use is skim milk powder, butter and milk. Yes, inflation has hit us, and it is difficult, but I think this is the way I think the world is going to be for some time now. I think it's only fair that companies acknowledge this reality, and I think it only helps us work harder and come out smarter. I think the 2020 COVID experience, I think, has made most companies a lot more resilient than they were before. I see this inflation as a great opportunity for the company to come out stronger. Yes, certainly we may not be able to mitigate the entire cost increase or the inflation, but we are trying to do our best to try and mitigate. Of course, we cannot pass on the entire cost increase to our consumers. It's a very competitive and price-sensitive category. So we're trying to mitigate the inflation as much as possible.
Right. So Havmor has a strong presence in both retail and food service channels. How do you balance these two aspects of the business, and what opportunities do you see for growth in each channel?
Yes, you're right. Havmor has a very strong presence in both the retail and food service channel. We've got a very vast variety of products. We've got in excess of 160 SKUs that cater to the requirements of the retail channel, the ice cream parlor that we're sitting in and talking right now, the food service operators and the customers. And I think link it to the previous point that we just discussed, that the opportunity to grow in India is so large that whether it's retail or food service, whether it's online or offline, I think the opportunities for anybody to grab. We're pretty excited about the opportunity both in retail and food service. Both these channels obviously have different purposes. Food service is more of, the brand is not visible.
Now, if you can also talk about how Havmor approaches branding and marketing in India, and what channels have been the most effective in reaching your target audience?
Okay, so I think we've stepped up our investments in advertising. As you would know, Havmor is a legacy brand which originated from Gujarat. So we're strong in Gujarat. We're a lovemark brand in Gujarat. We've progressively over the years expanded out of Gujarat into West, Rajasthan, parts of Delhi, parts of North like Delhi, NCR, UP. But our ambitions are to make this a truly national brand. And keeping that in mind, I'm happy to share with you that Havmor Ice Creams is now the official partner, ice cream sponsor partner for Gujarat Titans. And Hardik Pandya, who's the captain of the Gujarat Titans, is our brand ambassador. Now, I think the choice of Hardik Pandya and partnership with Gujarat Titans primarily is with the thought of expanding the brand and taking it beyond the western part of the country. The ambition is to increase mental awareness and in parallel also drive physical availability of the product across the country.
Finally, before I let you go, tell me, what are your big ideas or trends that you see shaping up in the FMCG space in the coming years?
Yeah, that's an interesting one, Ritika. I think there are 3 or 4 key trends that are emerging. I think the first one is the accelerated age of digitization. So artificial intelligence being one of the biggest ones. I think companies, there are certain companies, FMCG companies that have already adopted technology. They're working with artificial intelligence to on the supply chain domain, in better consumer understanding, in predicting demand trends. And I think going forward, more and more of, there is likely to be a more and more use of artificial intelligence to help smarter and better decision making. So that's one. And the second thing I think that will continue is a lot more focus on sustainability. Havmor as a company has always believed that it's important that we give back to the society. But I think we've now started doing it in a more organized way.
Thank you, Komal, for joining us today. It was lovely chatting with you.
Pleasure. Thank you so much.
On that note, it's a wrap on this episode of IDFC First Bank Presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 11. We hope you enjoyed these interesting conversations. Thank you and good night.